So in today's video, I'm going to show you guys how to create and animate a character using the Adobe Creative Cloud suite. The way that it works is it allows you to use generative AI credits across different models. And you can start that by going to Adobe FireFly. That's going to be your main entry point into this generation. Here we are in Adobe FireFly, and you have a number of different options on this main entry point. On the left-hand side in the vertical navigation menu, I have the option to create or generate images, which are pretty much the same thing. So I'm going to start off with the create, and you're presented with a prompt. You have the ability to create images or videos. You can also change the resolution very easily by selecting the resolution from the drop-down selection. You can even do, short 9 by 16. And I might say lo-fi Chiba style character studying near a lake. Very simple prompt. And let's just say with relaxed vibes with a side profile. That way I give it the composition of the image, and it will be daytime and no particles, because sometimes it generates these little flecks or particles essentially in these shots, especially with animated characters. So I want to make sure it doesn't do that. And then you can select the model. Adobe has their own Firefly model, which right now it's 0 credits until, and we see the image has been generated. Not bad for a first generation. I give it very little as far as details, let it kind of pick it out. And it created this female character. She's sitting on a nice blanket uh, off the shore of a lake. She has a coffee mug, book bag, a notebook. This is actually a really good character right off the bat, honestly. Especially if you're like doing lo-fi videos, this is something that you can easily utilize to create different animations or different character styles. So I actually like this first one, but we're going to go ahead and create some more as well. And then a new generation, same prompt, not going to change anything, but I am going to change the model to use the Firefly image generation, version 5, because different models will provide you different styles of outputs, even with the same prompt. So this is a good way to check the different models to see which ones that you might want to use as opposed to others. And again, same prompt. And this one, the style is slightly different. And I really do like this one as well. One thing I do notice that she does have two pencils or pens, and I'm going to click this drop down and notice you have an option to edit the image. And so what you can do is you can change the model, you can change the aspect ratio as well. So I'm going to say, hey, she should have one pencil and make sure that she is looking at her book. And then click generate. And there we go. There's the output. Now she only has one pencil and her eyes are shifted down. So she is looking at the book. Now what I'm going to do is show you how to change the image resolution. So you're going to get the same image. It's going to just change the orientation or perspective. And so I'm just going to change it to a 9 by 6. So more of a portrait style. I'm just going to say change resolution. I probably could have said no changes, but it's going to just take this image and it's going to format it accordingly. Nothing should change though. And there we go. So it's changed that image resolution to a 9 by 16. Everything looks the same. And so that's an easy way how to modify your image. Now, what you can also do is you can use a reference image. So I have this character that I created before called Athena. I'm going to take a previous image generation that I had her on a plane, and I'm going to use her in the reference. I'm going to use the same model, Flux, and I'm going to click generate using the same prompt. So the character that gets created should look very similar to the reference image. This is how you can have those consistent characters, which I think is really great and easy because you can use those previous generations as those reference images, or you can import additional images. And there we go. That is the generation that you're seeing right there. And it's consistent with that reference image, including her clothes and the headphone. They have captured that character perfectly, even using a different model, because I used a different model to generate the original character. Now, what I'm going to show you is in the Athena image where she's by the lake. I'm going to show you how you can take an image that's generated and use Photoshop because this is a part of the Creative Cloud suite. So I can click that Photoshop button. And what's going to happen is it's going to load that image generation in as the first layer. And I'm then going to go to the selection area. And by default, it tries to detect objects. So if I then hover over those detections, it's going to highlight. So it's isolated her, the lake, the sky. So it understands these as different components that I could select. And one thing that I'm going to do here in Photoshop, I could do it in image generation editing, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the color of her headphones and her sweater by adding them to or separating them into different layers and adding them as and then adding a layer mask. So what I'll do is I'll try to select her headphones as best as I can, and I'll just do that with the selection tool. I'll have to come in, zoom in a bit, and make sure that I add the correct part of the headphones and then separate it from her hair. I'll fast forward a little bit, but essentially I'm just going to make sure that her headphones are selected because I'm going to check. Now that I have her headphones selected as good as I can, I'm going to come down here and click adjust and click hue saturation. What happens is this creates an adjustment layer with the layer mask for the headphones. So now I can just change the color of these headphones, slide them easily. You see, it's not perfect, but if I end up clicking this colorize button, this is going to isolate it a bit more directly to the hue change that I'm making, and it's going to look a lot better. And there you go. With the colorized, that looks a lot better. It's more even as far as that selection. And that's her headphones modified on a different layer using a layer mask. Now I can do the exact same thing with her sweater. I want to change it. So I'm just going to go in, try to select it as best as I can, and then do the same thing where I add an adjustment layer. Then I can change the color of her sweater. Okay, I've selected as best as I can. Adjustment, hue, saturation. Now it's been isolated, and then there we go. I can change the color of her sweater. So this is just a good example of how you can create an image or generate an image, but then you can still use the traditional Photoshop tools in order to make those post image generation modifications. So yeah. Next up, I want to show you creating a video from an image that you have generated. So I'm going to hover over the image and click image to video. This is going to take me to a slightly different section. Same thing, you get to select your models. You also get to select your different resolutions, your aspect ratio. Adobe has their own FireFly models, which right now it's 0 credits, but they also have those third-party models, which will cost you credits depending on the settings and features. You also have motion capabilities depending on the model. With FireFly, you can say, hey, how the camera should move. I'm going to say static. And I'm just going to describe the image. So hopefully the video doesn't make any drastic modifications. Hey, it's a woman sitting with her laptop. She's typing on a bench near a lake. Small movements as she types, because this is like a lo-fi video I want to create. So I just want to make sure she's typing at her laptop and slowly as well. I don't want it to be super fast. So I'm going to enter that prompt in, and I'm going to end up hitting generate. And you get a little, it just lets you know. And it says it can't load. Now, I tried this prompt several different ways. I looked at the user guide. I thought it was because I said it was a woman in there. Um, I don't know exactly what it was. I am under an assumption that Adobe Firefly does not like to manipulate humans or what appears to be a human in any type of way. I think that's a part of the security guardrails. I could be wrong, but I tried several different prompts. I even said, hey, instead of a woman, hey, a person, instead of, explicitly. It still kept having issues trying to generate a video. So after about 4 different attempts, I gave up. Luckily, there's 0 credits, at least during the time of this recording. And instead, I moved on to a different model. So I think it's just something with Adobe Firefly. It does not want to manipulate humans in video generation. So after several attempts, I gave up on Firefly Video, and I'm looking at different models, such as Ray. or Sora. You can see the different credits that it takes in the lower right-hand side, such as 250. Ray uses 1500 credits, VO3 400 credits, VO 3.1 80 credits. This is the one that used the less number of credits. So I decided to use this one. It's going to be a 720p video, widescreen. And I'm going to change the prompt. I'm going to say a woman slowly typing on her laptop while sitting on a bench near a lake. No head movement, only typing, because it's going to be a lo-fi video. I don't want a lot of movement. Static camera, because sometimes the camera zooms in for whatever reason. So I want to make sure the camera is static. Perfect loop, start and end on the same frame. This is the prompt that I usually get that works really well with trying to create like lo-fi style videos or trying to get a loop that's very close to the starting and the ending of the frame. And you have 4 to 8 seconds you can do. I'm going to do 8 seconds and I'm going to make it widescreen. And then I'm going to click generate. And again, at the time of this recording, using VO 3.1 fast, this is 80 credits. Again, the other ones you saw, some were like 250, some were 400. It depends on the model, as well as the resolution and how many seconds. That will depend on how many credits you're going to utilize. And there we go. The video's been created. Let's click play and see what we have. Nice. She is typing on her keyboard. She does have some head movement, but it's very subtle, so I'm okay with that. We even have ripples in the lake. We'll see how well that's going to play when I try to do a looping video because I want it to be smooth. But that is really good. Now you also have the option to upscale the video because right now it is 720p. Upscaling does cost credits as well. And in addition, it looks like there's some video editing capabilities. I haven't played around with those. I think that's in beta at the time of this recording. But as far as a first video, this is really good. And so since I'm going to work on a lo-fi video, what I'm going to want to do is add some additional animations. So that way it's not just the same character movement. I'm going to add like 2 additional character animations. So I'm going to say a woman sitting on a bench near a lake with her laptop, no typing. She glances towards the lake because I want her to be able to move her head a bit more. This is like being her pausing during typing. She glances. Of course, I misspelled that. She glances happily towards the lake. No typing, static camera, perfect loop, start and end on the same frame. And then, yep, just double checking. And then I click generate. And there we go. The video is finished generating. Let's click play. And okay, she's still typing only for a little bit. Oh, she looks up. She's happy and smiling. She didn't look at the lake, but you know what? I'm okay with that. I'm okay with her not turning her head towards the lake. It's still giving, some character movement and it breaks up the video that I'll be working on. Everything else seems the same. There's no drastic changes in the water at all. So I like this so far. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in and click this edit clip. And this looks like a way that you can come in and make modifications via prompting, but look at the number of credits that we have, like 320 credits. I'm just going to come back in and I'm going to use the same, the model, Gemini 3.1 fast, because that was only 80 credits and everything in my video still stayed the same, except for the slight change of animation. So instead of using that video editing generation, which was more credits, I'm just going to stick to the way that I'm currently doing it because it's using a lot less credits for it and it seems to be consistent. So back to VO 3.1 fast. And I want to get back that previous prompt. So all I have to do is click on the previous generation and it'll bring the prompt back. And then I'm going to keep the first sentence the same. And the second sentence, I'm going to make the modification of the action that she's doing or the action that's occurring. Now what I want, I think to make it more unique is I would like for a bird to land near her for her to acknowledge the bird by looking at it in some type of, happy way. And then the bird flies off screen. That's the idea. That's what I want to happen. So we're going to see. I'm not sure how to describe this specifically. So I'm just going to say a bird briefly lands on the bench near her. A bird briefly lands on the bench near her lap. She smiles, and the bird flies away off screen. That's the biggest thing. I want to make sure that it completely leaves the screen. That way I can loop the video. Because if the bird stays on the screen, it's going to mess up the loop. So we're going to go ahead and click generate. Okay, the video is done. Crossing our fingers. Let's press play. All right, she's typing and oh, the bird comes in and it's in the same style. She looks at it, it flies away. The fly off is a little weird. It looks like it gets like stuck on a wall a little bit, but I'm okay with that. That is really good. I can always crop, right? If I wanted to. That is really good because really in my mind, I wanted it to land on the bench behind her head. I guess I didn't know how to say that prompt wise. But yes, and I'm highly impressed that it kept up the same animation style. She looked at the bird. Everything else is the same. Nothing changes with her feet. The water still looks good. Her laptop is the same. She types for a little bit. The bird flies away. I am very impressed with that. Oh, that's really good. Okay, and so now what I do have the ability to do is upscale this video now. There's a singular model. Topaz Labs provides the upscaling from 720 to 1080p, and it's only 40 credits. So I feel like all three of these videos are really good. They're what I need to create a lo-fi style video. So I'm completely fine. So that's going to be 120 credits total because I'm going to do 3 upscales. So we're going to start with the last video and then go to the first video with the upscaling. Okay, the upscaling is complete and here's the video. And yes, the grain is gone. It looks a lot smoother. There's the bird. And yes, so this is upscaled now to 1080p. And I can do the same thing with the other 2 videos. Okay, I've upscaled all 3 videos. Now what I can do is use Adobe Express. It's kind of like Canva, essentially. As you have the ability to have these different pages, you can create posters or thumbnails, and you can do some slight video editing as well. And the idea is I'm going to bring these 3 videos together to make a nice looping lo-fi video. So I come in and you can upload your content. Now, there are things that if you've already created them in Adobe or FireFly, you'll see them underneath your files. But for whatever reason, the video generations are not listed under the files you've already created. So you do have to download those videos and then upload those to Express. That's the one thing that I don't understand why they can't get those videos. You have to download them and then upload them here. So that's one annoying. Okay, so I've located the 3 videos I downloaded, and I'm gonna upload those as a scene in a sequence. So since I selected all 3 of those, it's gonna upload those to Express, but also put them as separate scenes. And I'm just gonna go ahead and play the videos and see what this looks like. Here's the first one. She's typing. She's typing. That was a pretty smooth transition. Her head looks up. She's in a happy mood. And then the bird comes, flies behind her. She acknowledges it, and the bird flies off screen. That is pretty good. And you can easily come in and you can duplicate a scene. So you can extend it essentially. Now, there's this little jump that I noticed that I do want to fix. So, what I'm going to do is in between these scenes, I'm going to click that plus icon and I'm going to click add transition and I'm going to click on dissolve. So this should be a smoother look how smooth that was. So you don't even notice that the ripples aren't exactly the same because that dissolve kind of fixes that transition, even with her typing. So that is how you can then extend that scene. I can duplicate it. I can make sure that I have that transition. And it looks like even the next one, the transition works very well. So I'll do dissolve again. Then I come towards the end of the scene. I press play just to make sure, and that's smooth as well. And if you want that dissolve for all scenes, you can make sure you do the transition of dissolve. And at the bottom, you have apply to all scenes. Okay, so I've played around. I've made duplicates of the scenes and I've extended it. Now this is a minute and 34 seconds because I've done the duplication and I've made sure that the transitions are smooth. Next, what I want to do is I want to add some custom music. So this is where I'm going to go to Suno. Okay, so I'm going to come in and I'm just going to say a very simple prompt and I'm going to have it then enhance it. So I'm going to say lo-fi study music, outdoors by a lake, upbeat, slow. And then make sure it's instrumental, otherwise it will have words. So then I click that enhance prompt button and it gives more details, So you don't have to put a ton in there. Use the benefit that it can enhance your prompt and then go ahead and click create and it will make the songs for you. It's created these lakeside focus songs for me. I'm going to click on play to hear what the first one sounds like. Not gonna lie, that sounds pretty good. I like the melody, the tone. I think it matches the vibe of the scene. So nice. And then I come down and I click on the second video, listen to that music. Again, you just want to make sure that the song matches that feeling that you're trying to get. It wouldn't make sense if this was super crazy high energy or super dark and monotone. It wouldn't make sense. So I like both of these songs. So I'm going to go ahead and download both of these. And I'm then going to go back over to Adobe Express and upload those. I've located the songs that I've downloaded. I've selected them both and I've clicked open and it's going to add them both to the scene. I want to make sure it's only one. So I need to delete the secondary track, but it's at least in my uploaded files now. And then I can play it over and that is how I really like that. And then of course we still have those nice transitions. All right, now that I am done with this video in Adobe Express, what I can do is download it. So I'll come over here to the upper right-hand corner, click on download, and then you have a couple of different formats from image formats to, in this case, MP4, which I want it as an actual video. And then the resolution, I'm gonna leave it 1080p, and then click download. Okay, there we go. And we're ready to download. So I'll save it to a location on my machine. Now I have the video and now I can do with it as I please. If I want to upload it to my YouTube channel, I have a secondary one that I'd use for lo-fi videos. But that's how you can utilize Adobe Express. So with that, we are complete. Hopefully you have learned a lot in this video from AI image generation through the Adobe software suite using FireFly, how to edit that image through generation or through Photoshop, how to create an animation, and then bringing it together in Adobe Express, where we combine those animations, make them seamless with transitions, and then we use Suno for the music generation. So hopefully this was a very helpful video for you, inspirational video. Go out there, create your content. Please leave comments. Let me know what else you would like to see because I'm going to try to do better at making some of these type of longer form tutorials or more engaging tutorials. So thanks. Look forward to seeing you guys in the next one. Take care.